And I'm back in the room. And it looks like... Yeah, it looks like the players... I did shoot them a message, ask them if they could start playing a little bit earlier. It looks like they both just need a couple of minutes and they'll be able to get up and running. So we'll be able to start a little bit earlier. So we don't have to wait for quite as long, fortunately. So I'll get you the drafts as soon as they're up and running. It looks like they're already calling the heads or tails right now to see who gets priority in the draft. So in the community patch we have tried to balance out the more egregious civs to be a little bit less strong. So we feel like obviously we're never going to get perfect civ balance, but the civs feel reasonably good. I think most of the civs have they're decent on at least a couple of maps. Obviously the tier list changes a little bit depending on what the map you're playing is, depending if it's like a closed map, a water map, hybrid map, etc. I feel like for me it's only really the Assyrians that just suck. On basically every map. I know I hate on the Assyrians a lot, I just feel like they don't do anything better than any other civ can. They do. I guess if they do get to Iron Age, having the cheap siege upgrades is actually pretty nice. Jesse's just trying to remember the order of the draft. Okay, so we're actually straight in, so that was actually quite nice and quick there. Let me get you so you guys can see the draft. Jesse much prefers the hybrid maps, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some of those picked. Bob, I think, just prefers the pure open land maps. So yeah, Continental banned. And I wonder what Jesse will ban, actually. Maybe Jesse bans something like Sahara or Gold Mountain, something like that. Yeah. Oh, Dark Forest. I guess maybe Jesse just doesn't want to see that map. I guess he just wants it out of the rotation. I don't think Jesse minds playing any map really, so I think he'd probably just like as a throwaway ban. But yeah, Oasis, a reasonably open map by Bob. Who's favourite? I think you've got to say Bob's the favourite here. Change title. I mean, what do you mean change title? They're in the title. Alright, yes, your majesty, I will change the title for you. But yeah, inland picked by Jesse, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was like Continental. No, sorry, Continental's banned like Mediterranean or Coastal. Ocean Ring, nice one, Jesse. Ocean Ring, one of my favourite maps. Oh, Citadel from Bob. Interesting. I hadn't even registered that in my brain. That's yeah, it's quite unusual from Bob. Bob usually likes to play the more open maps. So that does surprise me. Yeah, just wait for the Civ draft. What do you mean, like in a boxing match? I watched the Formula 1. I'm a Formula 1 enjoyer. But here we go into the Civ draft. Be interesting to see what Civs they do ban here. Got a reasonably mixed bag. I wouldn't be surprised if Minoans does. Yeah, Minoans does get banned. Carth as well. Quite interestingly, maybe Carthaginians just try and shut them down on maps like Oasis. Romans picked first by Jesse. That's a very interesting go-to pick there. That gives... Wait, Shang's still up? I feel like Jesse's just like lost his mind. Jesse, my man! Egyptians go to Bob as well. I feel like Bob's absolutely stolen this draft already. Oh, and Hittites! It just doesn't stop! Make it stop! Oh, this is an absolute disaster. I mean, it's not a disaster draft. And it is, and it isn't. Oh yeah, Yamato as well. I don't know what Jesse was thinking. It's interesting that Bob decided to prioritize Lakviat over Shang, though. I will say that. I still think... I mean, Lakviat, I guess, is like the ultimate aggressive civ, so maybe that just suits Bob's playstyle more, where Shang's a little bit more just of an eco civ. And Assyrians, right at the end, Sumerians. I don't really understand the Romans pick this early, and I don't know if Jesse just has some strat specifically for the Romans on one of these maps. I will say that for Inland and Ocean Ring, Bob doesn't necessarily... I mean, I guess Inland you can still use Shang and Lakviat perfectly fine, to be honest. I was going to say Jesse has slightly stronger just water civs, perhaps, but I don't think it's enough of a difference. Persians on the Ocean Ring, maybe Phoenicians on Inland. But yeah, I feel like that was a huge mistake from Jesse to just let Lakviat and Shang through to Bob. You could have done just the classic Lakviat Shang trade if Jesse just clicked Shang here. And then Greeks. He's backing the Greeks for Citadels, I guess. But I feel like... I'm just trying to think. I don't know if Greeks can... I mean, you can just pick Hittites into the Greeks. I was going to say sometimes the Egyptians can be a little bit weird. If you can get if both players just play priests, then you can just keep converting back your hoplites as the Greeks. But I think Hittites just flat out beat the Greeks on Citadels. So Bobby doesn't even need to use this Egyptian pick, I don't think. He can... I mean, I guess that means, yeah, he's going to have like one slightly weaker civ, but yeah, if it doesn't even get to like the 5th map, it doesn't even matter. I think Hittites is the better civ on Citadel, but he obviously has the option of Egyptians there. But yeah, like I said, I'm very confused by the Roman first pick. Like I've been saying before, that people tend to leave it lower in the draft. Maybe Return of Rome, Jesse representing with the Romans. Maybe he's going to pull something out here. I think the draft would be fine if Jesse just picked Shang in either of these two picks, and it would have been completely fine. It's just like weird that he let both Lakviat and Shang go through. Maybe Jesse just literally just thinks that with the nerfs, the Lakviat isn't as strong. Well, they're definitely not as strong, but like he doesn't fear them, I guess. All eco bonuses. I mean, the Hittites doesn't, but all the other ones, and the Assyrians kind of but obviously Shang, Lakviat, Egyptians all have pretty strong eco. Like Phoenicians, I think is one of the best eco civs in the game. I mean, Romans have still got a decent eco. It's just like not on par with Lakviat, Shang, Phoenician. I think Phoenicians. You probably do see Phoenicians. I mean, Lac-Viat. I think Bob will just use Lac-Viat on the first map, and maybe Jesse tries to throw in a spanner with the Chosen. I've seen like people just throw it Chosen into just try to bait out a stronger Civ on the first map quite often. They're not set up the lobby yet. Looks like they're just sorting out the server they're on. Lac versus any Civ. I think Persians can maybe match up. It's tough though. Well, I think Jesse has the edge on. I don't know. Actually, no, it's tough. I think Persians are very good on Ocean Ring, but Yamato was still pretty good for Ocean Ring as well. Because like you can just get a really solid start for the Persians on Ocean Ring, but then you have to like keep that momentum going with the Persians, whereas Yamato's bonuses just like persist throughout the whole game. So it's like for me in my brain, I'm like Ocean Ring's gonna be Persians, Yamato. Inland is gonna be Phoenicians, maybe Lac-Viat. Maybe Shang, Citadels, Greeks versus Hittites, Oasis. I don't even know. What does Jesse even use for Oasis? Maybe the Romans there, uses Chosen a Highland. It's just, yeah, Samira's chosen Romans. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see what Jesse can pull out here as they set up the lobby. Oh yeah, that's true. Persians can be good on Oasis for sure. It's just if he uses Persians on Oasis, I just don't really like. What's he play? I guess maybe you could play it Romans on Inland, and then Persians on Oasis, and then Phoenicians on Ocean Ring. I guess that still works. But then again, it's just like, what is he playing on Highland now? Does he just throw away Chosen, try to just throw that into either Lac-Viat or Shang, which I suspect Bob will throw down for Highland? I mean, actually, no, that said, Bob likes to just throw down Assyrians for Highland. So we might just see Bob just go Assyrians first game. I've seen Bob do that loads of times before. He just grabs the middle elephant with the speed advantage of the villagers and just takes the game from there. So I think Bob's got like everything he wants in this draft. It's, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jesse might need some drafting practice, I don't know. Obviously it's all subjective really. I feel like there are some like objectively strong civs in the game, but like what you think is going to be good into where is a little bit subjective. Yeah, we'll just wait for them to get the lobby up and running. They're in the lobby, they just need to launch the game. Sounds like you just got an unlucky spawn there and res. There we go. Game is just launched, so we will get ourselves into game 1 of the best of 5 series from the Contenders Clash between Bob and Jesse. Let me mute the music. And get us into the game. Where's my capture rage? I lose it every time. Here we go. So I actually need to start the scoreboard up again. There we go. And away we go. So, okay, so Bob did decide to use Shang straight away. Like I said, he has gone for Assyrians on this map before. Okay, we always see some action in the middle. Jesse using the Phoenicians now, which confuses me even more, to be honest. As I would have thought he would have saved Phoenicians for one of those either inlands or Ocean Ring. Jesse does manage to sneak away with those beginning elephants, though, which is actually quite... Oh, actually, yeah, obviously the Shang don't get the extra free starting house anymore, so they kind of do have to put a couple of houses down. Like before, you could just put down one at the start, and you don't need to worry about having to put another, second house down for quite some time, as your TC essentially counted an extra house. Current community patch team bonus for the Shang, if you're unaware, is that the government centre works 80% faster, so your techs come in a little bit more than half the time, which Shang don't actually get many of the Iron Age government centre techs, so it's not massive for them, and obviously only comes in the Bronze Age as well. 16 idle, yeah, a little bit of idle time. It's probably Jesse just probably doing a little bit of micro with that elephant around there. He probably just forgot to click a villager, but yeah, a little bit of idle time sneaking in there. I think that's kind of like, I mean, Bob looks like he did find the other two central elephants, but he's only just bringing those back now. But he did quite well to find those other two elephants as well. Just needs to drop aggro on the elephant there. And okie dokie, so we get ourselves settled into the game. Both players are going to grab 4 elephants apiece. Like I said, Bob a little bit more idle time, just trying to, well, as in like the villager was just exploring around and actually gathering resources. But yeah, a little bit of idle TC time for Jesse. He's just going to maybe delay his uptime to the tool by a small amount. And we'll see if Bob maybe tries to, like I said, he does quite like his aggressive plays. See if he tries to get maybe something like 18 pop up. Looks like he doesn't really have the setup quite going for that just yet. Storage pit going up basically on the nearest trees he could possibly get to with that Ville there. Jesse going on his backward line there. Maybe a little bit overcrowded on the elephant there. Going to have a little bit of an inefficiency. He does decide to pull a second elephant. Maybe it would have been better just to kill this one here and just have the villagers a little bit wrapped around, because there's going to be a little bit of jostling for position. Oh, okay, they can just go through the elephant. I completely forgot about that. For some reason I thought they had to go like round the edge of the elephant. I have no idea why I thought that. Yeah, slightly... I guess, again, it's just plant the house down as near as possible. But yeah, 20 vills up and only 4 seconds idle time, which obviously Shang, pretty easy to keep that ILTC time down, whereas Phoenician's up to 47. So Jesse going to be behind by a little bit, getting to the tool age. Barracks a little bit of the ways forward. Bob just wanting to get that down, maybe just get a few clubbers out before tool age comes in. So doesn't want to get pushed too far forward of that just yet. I suspect, yeah, we'll see a couple of clubbers coming straight away. And maybe we'll see a second barracks built, sort of maybe in this sort of area as we go forward. I think Jesse's probably going to have to go for the needleworking tech straight away in this game, especially when he sees how quickly Bob's got up to the tool age. Almost like perfect idle TC time. Second barracks going down for Jesse, so no being greedy here. Just trying to... I've seen it loads of times in the loads of times in the past where people try to get to the tool age, they get the archery range out, and by that point it's already too late. So that, okay, so it was archery range going into, so it's just going to be one barracks axis. There's only going to be a couple of axes out on the field. Well, this is the only series happening tonight, so if you're not happy with this, you can clear off Billy. But yeah, for the time being, archery range coming in now. And did he get the needleworking tech? He didn't actually get needleworking. Now he's getting it now. Like I said, I feel like he should have done that before adding in a couple more villagers. Tower is going to go up just to try and defend the gazelle that he's put down already. Just trying to kite out until the Axer upgrade comes in, but the Bowman already coming in. It's going to make this a little bit awkward. And needleworking in now should be able to deal with the axes. I feel like Jesse Okay, which maybe just trying to kite back into the watchtower. Bowman comes out, and I think Jesse's just about stabilised, but that's resulted in quite a bit more idle TC time. So he's now 5 villagers behind at this point. The bows are going to start being a bit of an issue. Jesse might just want to, I was going to say, maybe add slingers, but he obviously used all his stone on the tower, so he can't do that. A couple of villagers going for a little bit of a run. I don't know, that's just trying to keep him safe for the time being. Maybe there's work on the berries. Axes are going to get in on the bows though. So that's actually a pretty nice trade for Jesse, as those bowman numbers were sneaking up. But yeah, the tower going to do a decent job of defending the eco for the time being. But again, Bob still just, yeah, moving on to farm. Getting those farms up, sorry. My brain had a little bit of a lag for a second there. And now the slingers also being added in by Bob. And did he add in? Okay, just another archery range. So just making slingers from his original barracks. And yeah, as the shank, it's just so easy just to keep. Yeah, you can see 9 seconds idle TC time. It's just slightly creeping up now, but it's so easy to keep the idle TC time down and villager production going as the shank. Jesse maybe trying to bait some of the units away, just to give him a bit extra time to defend himself. And yeah, 3 bows in defense to the 5 bobs. So it's just going for the old slinger bow combo. No eco upgrades in just yet, or at least I didn't see them. No, it's just literally just the infantry armor actually in. So actually, Jesse's axes just with the armor in as well. And the village is forced away again. Jesse might actually stumble across these berries if he does keep going in this direction, which would be a reasonably lucky find for him. It's the classic 1-tile miss. We'll go back to the action. It might just be that he builds a storage pit just to get those villagers working. But yeah, the economy being very messed up for Jesse here. Bob forcing a lot of idle villagers. And a few units getting picked off by Jesse's bows now. Again, now it's a 11 villager lead. And, okay, villagers going in. Needleworking is in. So actually, going to be very effective at taking the slingers down. It's a little bit of a slip up by Bob there. But I think, to be honest, even though he's actually only got 1 actual eco kill, just the idle time he's forced has been more than enough. You can see over 4 minutes of idle TC time just because Jesse's not getting the food income coming in. Like I said, storage pit did go up. Unfortunately, he didn't quite see those berries there, which is pretty much what he needed. Doesn't have the woods quite set up all his farms yet. Meanwhile, Bob absolutely flying at home. Doesn't even feel the need to wall up. Still completely open. But obviously, he's been in the driver's seat for some time now. Now he's getting the resources. About to click Bronze Age. Jesse was on 5 food for a second there. Bronze clicked in for Bob. Wolf getting a little bit involved there. And we may see a little bit of a battle here. Slingers in is going to make this a little bit difficult for Jesse, I think. Yeah, Bob can just kite this back, take the axes down, and then just push the fight forward again. And that's going to be all of Jesse's Tool Age army taken care of. Bob nearly in the Bronze Age already. Jesse just kind of still just setting up his farm eco at home. And this might be Bronze Age into GG. Depends how much Jesse wants to try and just play this out for the first game. Like I said, I feel like this is a little bit of a waste of the Phoenicians. Like I think I would have preferred Jesse to like throw in the Chosen or something here, as I feel like it was quite likely that Bob would either throw the Lackvi out of the shank in this first game. Like I said, Bob sometimes has used the Assyrians, so maybe Jesse would felt like he had to be a bit wary of that. He's going to lose another villager hit. It's going to be the second villager down. probably the third stable coming down as well now. And he's not actually gone into the gold yet, so not quite. And yeah, GG just instantly called by Jesse. We're going to go 1-0. Yeah, Jesse was just a long way away from the Bronze Age there, and that just initial rush. So like I said before, the balance changes. All they were to do was try and slow the rushes down a bit, but obviously you can still see the rushes still can be effective. And I think, again, I said it, Jesse probably should have just gone needlework straight away as soon as he hit Tool Age. Instead he added a couple of villages in and then went needlework, and that just meant that like the axes could just do what the old axes do, where they can just, one axe can basically disable an entire wood line by themselves. But yeah, you can see adding a couple of extra vills, and that made it so these initial clubmen axe are about to come in here. We're just able to have an absolute field day. Yeah, Jesse just basically forced to idle half of his villagers. He felt the need to build that tower as well. The game was decided fairly quickly from this point on. There was some good back and forth trades, but Bob just continuing that. What did he end up on? Only a minute idle TC time, which by this time is not terrible, considering how all in he was going on the aggression. And yeah, we'll get ourselves into game 2. But yeah, like I said, I think Jesse's already used one of his strongest civs in his draft. So it's already looking pretty rough for him. I mean, like, you could argue that he put himself in this position already from how he drafted in the first place. So let's go back to the draft itself. So we saw the Phoenicians losing to the Latviat. No, we didn't. We saw it to the Shank. So Jesse will have the choice of maps now, and I can only imagine that he will go to one of his own maps. Maybe just throws down Ocean Ring, as he possibly feels more confident there. And I think these sort of maps is where Bob's a little bit weaker. Or maybe just goes to Inland just because it's an old DE classic, and he just feels more at home there. Let's have a look what the pick is. Looks like Citadels is actually currently being hovered. Jesse possibly picking his opponent's map here. Maybe Jesse just wants to get himself into the series, into the Bronze Age. So I suspect that means Greeks are going to come out from Jesse. And I would have thought Bob would just go for the Hittites here, because I feel like the Hittites just slam dunk the Greeks on Citadels. But we'll see. As it looks like they've gotten themselves into the game. Get ourselves quickly into game 2 now. Launch it up. And I press my button. And indeed, we do see the Greek versus Hittite matchup. And in my opinion, this is very difficult for the Greek player to win this matchup. Just because your hoplites get very, I won't say very easily dealt with, but somewhat easily dealt with the Hittite Chariot Archer once they get that Chariot Archer mass up and running. And then the Greeks don't really have they don't have any ranged options themselves. Jesse could go for Tool Rush, that is true, Bongo, that's 100% true. I think possibly that might be his only chance, so maybe that's what he should do. Greeks aren't the quickest in the early game, though. Obviously, the Hittites aren't that quick either. But yeah, Greeks no bonuses in the Stone Age outside of water maps. But yeah, and also I don't feel like Jesse's the most aggressive of players either. So even if it is probably the best strategy to go for, to try and rush the Hittites before they can get to that Bronze Age, I'm not 100% certain that's what Jesse will go for just from his play style. But yeah, I think Bob, all he needs to do is just try and get himself up with a very, very standard Bronze Age, a fast Bronze Age. Get that wheel in, get those archery ranges down, start pumping those chariot archers. 1 TC all in, which is a play I know Bob likes to do. Like I said, he's quite aggressive player. So I expect that will come out. And yeah, just the chariot archers into forward siege workshop and get those even stronger Hittite stone throwers out on the field as well. And I don't really know, maybe Jesse could try and go cavalry in Bronze Age just to try and mix it up, but you can't really play aggressively with cavalry on citadels. It's more just to fight in the open areas, but maybe you can catch your opponent out a bit with those. Just try and close down on any of the stone throwers, and maybe try and close down a bit on the chariots as well. But it's going to be rough unless he does go for a tool rush. A little bit of the wall just deleted there just to give the villagers a little bit more breathing room. Yeah, berries forward for Bob as well. To the side for Jesse, but they're both still out the front. And let's have a look. Yeah, it's 0 seconds. Idle TC from Bob so far. Very clean at the moment. 21 vills at the moment. Only 9 seconds from Jesse, but still a slight disadvantage. And he's, yeah, going for the standard player, trying to get those outer berries as your second granary. Bob's not felt the need as he's been pushing his gazelle for the time being. Still has the ball left over. Yeah, Jesse not quite gone for his gazelle yet. Might push those. In fact, that might be literally what he's doing right now. It looks like he's trying to push him towards the storage pit. And Bob going up 23 vills. Is Jesse going to go up? Oh, you need to cancel some of those, my friend Jesse. Get some of those cancelled real quick. That's another 8 villagers in queue. He does have the food to go up. Jesse! Is this some... Wait, is he going to go fast iron? Is that the idea, or has Jesse gone, like, crazy here? I feel like with 25 vills, we've still got 7 vills in queue. 23 vills up, 0 seconds idle TC time still. A little bit, maybe we're a little bit shy on food. Maybe we have a little bit too much wood for Bob here. Still has a ball left over. Maybe he's alright. Looks like he's a little bit shy of food actually though. Unless he's queued up a couple of villages already. So maybe he's alright. Jesse finally goes up 26 vills. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. But this means that Bob's just going to get to the Bronze Age so much quicker. So much quicker. Market coming down now. And archery range as well. Like I say, so yeah, Bob is going to be a little bit short on food. Unless he maybe... Yeah. Okay, no, he's fine. He's just gone 3 villages instead of 2. And then he'll be able to click up. Still 0 seconds idle TC. And Bob's already up to bronze, whilst Jesse's still not even in tool age yet. So Bob is going to be very pleased with that. And small wall coming in for Jesse. Archery range coming down. I don't know, was that going to be tower instead? Market as well. I mean, yeah, I can only think this is like an attempt at fast iron, but he's not. I mean, he's going full 5 villagers on stone. I feel like if it was fast iron, these villagers would be on gold, not stone. But yeah, idle time creeping up again as he doesn't quite have the food. A little bit too much wood. I don't get it. I'm not sure what Jesse's plan is here. I mean, he's walled in his extra thing, but this bowman's just going to be able to deny this. No, I did it. Actually, to be fair, he's already built most of the wall. That section of wall was like, why can't I click that? Please, let me click the wall. Wait, did you delete the wall? Oh no, it's part of the gate. I'm a silly boy. But anyway, Bronze Age in. Wheel takes half the time for Hittites. Villagers are coming forward. How many archery ranges do we have down? 3 already. There's going to be a siege workshop right around here, I suspect. And Jesse's still not on gold, so this is definitely not a fast iron. In fact, Jesse can't even build any... Jesse needs gold to make any units in that bronze. So again, it's like he thinks he can just go medium wall. And he's building towers now. But yeah, siege workshop already coming down. And yeah, and Bob's just going to go all in on 1 TC. Woodworking coming a little bit late for Bob, so that's just a little bit of an efficiency lost on the way up, but it's not too late. And doesn't quite have the gold yet for the stone thrower. So that's a little bit of a mistake there. Well, an extra town centre? Okay, that surprises me that he went for an extra TC. Obviously, that's an extra 80 wood he's had to put into that. I don't think he'll use that for villager production, because he doesn't... Oh, okay, maybe he does. Maybe I stand corrected. And if Jesse... I mean, I guess if Jesse... I don't even know. All he's got is 5 sentry towers, still not on gold. He's not made a government centre yet, so he's not adding an extra TCs. He's only just clicked wheel now. First stone thrower is only just coming out, because like I said, Bob was a little bit slow getting himself on gold. Those berries had to be abandoned. But Jesse, no military. No extra TCs, behind on eco. Storage pit going down on the gold now. I don't know, it feels like Jesse just kind of already knew that he was like going to be a bit stumped, and he's just tried to come up with a different plan on the fly. Try Katie's strat. Oh god. But yeah, Jesse looks a little bit lost right now. Extra wall is going to come down. It is effectively open here. It'd be a little bit odd to dive through that just yet. Stone thrower is going to have plenty of time to take down these sentry towers. Siege workshop going to come down now. Is Bob just going to dive through? Okay, he is actually just going to dive through. Ooh, okay, decides better of it after he sees. Yeah, I think he can just take his time to take down these towers, work his way through. And, gold mining just coming in now. Jesse's still not making any actual military. And to be honest, these chariot archers by themselves could just spell the end of the game, as it's going to force basically all of Jesse's eco idle. They're just maybe going to try and run out. I thought maybe try and hit down the stone throwers, but still a couple of chariot archers in defence. And Stable's only just coming down now. Like I said, Jesse maybe could have gone for the cavalry as an idea, but he would have needed that out in much bigger numbers already at this point. There's already too many chariot archers out on the field for cavalry to make a difference at this point. And I think sadly this is going to be a very quick 2-0. Well, like I said, I feel like Hittites are just kryptonite to Greeks. It's kind of weird because I feel like Greeks are still one of the top tier civs on this map. It's just that they absolutely fold to the Hittites, and the Hittites just also so happen to be a very top tier civ on this map. So yeah, GG's called 2-0 to Bob. Thank you for the raid, Kitchens. You just joined us. Unfortunately, Jesse's just faced a clobbering on the Citadel's map from Bob here. Bob just with a very clean fast bronze into just Hittite Chariot Archer spam, followed up by a bit of a forward siege. I feel like Jesse just kind of choked here. I don't exactly... I think he knew he needed to come up with something different, and I said, like I said, I think maybe cavalry was potentially the option there, but then it was just this point. He's got like 8 villages, 9, 10 villages of that. No, that's 9 villages in queue. So he basically has. You could just cancel all these and then click up after this villager was made. I don't know. It feels like Jesse got caught up in, like, he just couldn't decide what he was going to try and go for there. And then in the end, the best he could manage was just some sort of tower defense, but with no units behind that, stone throwers can just chew fruit, and it was only going to be a matter of time, really. So yeah, a little bit of a sad game from Jesse there. I think he will be probably a little bit disappointed with that one. But yeah, we'll get ourselves into game 3. Like I said, it was interesting because that Citadel's was actually Bob's map that he chose there. Jesse decided to go there, and like I said, I think because Bob had got the Hittites, it was always going to be a bit of a struggle for Jesse. Maybe you should have even picked like Persians there or something and trying to do what Cool did. I can't remember who it was. Was it against Say My Name, where Cool used the Persians against Say My Name to just do a full tool rush and managed to get that working for himself. So we'll go back to the draft quickly. So the Greeks lost there to the Hittites. And so Jesse has... we had Citadel there as well, sorry. So Ocean Ring, Inland, Oasis is left. Jesse used his Phoenicians already. Romans could still be decent for Inland, and Persians on Ocean Ring, but I don't know what you play on Oasis there. Chosen and Sumerians feel a little bit out of place in this draft. Like I said, Bob just getting Lakviat Shang. Still has Lakviat in the bag. Still has Yamato available as well. And Egyptians and Assyrians, not so great for the remaining maps either. But I think with the Yamato and Lakviat still left, you've got to think Bob's got pretty good odds in terms of the civs he has left. And obviously Bob, pretty strong player as well. Especially in the sort of like the mid-range tier skill level of players. It's actually going to be interesting to see, because Bob's first time he's in the Centurion League with the top players. It'll be interesting to see how well he does getting on against all those opponents in that league. So let's have a look who's in the Centurion League this time for the Rise of the Ancients. Let's have a quick look. So we have Vertex, Mini Yeti, and Restricted Takeaway Bongo, Bobesft, Say My Name, and VNS Cool. So they're all very strong players for Bob to test himself on, see how much he can improve still. Let's see now. So next map is going to be Ocean Ring. So I think Jesse, I feel like he's probably should pick the Persians here. And then Bob should probably just pick his Yamato. And that will be the go-to here, is what I expect. And okay, game's launched, so we'll get ourselves in. See if my Civ predictions were correct. Although I feel like it was a fairly easy prediction to make, although I'm going to look like an idiot now I've said that if I'm wrong. But indeed it is the Persians against Yamato, so I am correct. Nearly left myself out to dry there. And yep. So the Persian's pretty good on this map just because you get these elephants in straight away. And obviously it's usually pretty easy to grab your gazelle as well. Makes it just so you have a nice quick start with the Persians. But the Yamato obviously just always good on... well, Yamato pretty much good on all maps. They're just a really good all-round Civ. I think it's only really against the more higher tier maps on things like Citadels and stuff where they kind of struggle in the Bronze Age. But even if they can get to the Iron Age, they still have the very strong Yamato Heavy Horse Archer to fall back on. Slightly odd position for the storage pit for Bob. Obviously he wants to try and double up on the wood and the fish, but in a way he's kind of got not quite the best positioning for either resource here. Obviously, yeah, it's going to help, be pretty good in the short term, but the long term wood chopping efficiency is not going to be too great. But yeah, Yamato get the faster working fishing ships, as well as the extra HP on their ships as well. The Persians do get their faster attacking ships. Oh, scout line, I should say. Scout ship line, if we're being specific. And we'll see who can bring out their best on what was one of my favourite maps from Return of Rome, the Ocean Ring. Just because there's so many different wacky ways people can play this map. There's a lot of different ways to approach it. Some people still just go for the land aggression. Some people go for water domination. Some people go for the fast bronze. See if they can get away with it, try their luck. Some people go for the fast bronze, get stuck in their base and then lose on the spot. When they've got scout ships all the way around their base and they can't get out. Gazelle being a little bit annoying for Jesse here. A couple of them running towards the edge of the map there. It's always a little bit difficult to get him away from the edge once down. Jesse's actually got quite a nice berry spawn, so you can sort of like granary around this sort of area. It's always a little bit annoying when it's like right next to the match. They're saying that that's not that bad. He could probably just granary around here if he wants to. Oh yeah, a lot of idle time from Jesse. Yeah, very good point. I didn't really look at that because it's not something I would expect. Yeah, again, as the Persians especially, this should not be happening. Maybe is he going for a 16-vil rush, or is he just unintentionally housing himself? Oh, this feels like jitters. Well, I was thinking, is he just going to go, was this deliberate? But he still doesn't have the second building down. And he's still not making a house. Oh, okay. Is this intentional? I still feel like he probably should have built a house by now. This is too much. This is too much idle time. Bob's got himself set up on a dock. I mean, Jesse is still going to click up first. But Bob already with a massive eco lead. 2 minutes of idle time. And his Bob's spawn's been fairly lenient to him with that wood closing up the forward. The front crossing here. So it's going to be fairly easy for him to just like... You could even try and dock block this off. Barracks is going to come down. I mean, Jesse is going to still be to the tool age a lot quicker, and he is double barracks. But I guess he still has a decent amount of food supply. He's going to go for a dock in the middle, which could go a bit awry if Bob gets himself set up to tool. Get scout ships in. Jesse's not going to be able to respond to that. But obviously does mean any fishing ships here will be very safe for the time being. But yeah, Bob get himself set up with some extra clubbers of his own. Axa and armor going to be coming in fairly quickly. First clubber is in. Villager fighting back before the upgrades come in. It's very heads up by Bob there, getting the villagers involved before those techs come in. Jesse going to be forced. I mean, that guy's got it's literally 1 HP left. He's going to lose that guy before the upgrades come in. And he doesn't have the food to keep production going. What is it? There's only got 4 villagers working. What is happening here? All these villagers are migrating. Has no resources to do anything. Axes are going to clean up the initial axes. Clubbers from Bob. 3 villagers actually have gone down. So Jesse can. I feel like this has to work. He basically has to kill half of Bob's villagers now. Otherwise, it's going to be the end. 1 clubber distracting at the moment. Another villager does go down. Yeah, a couple of villagers hiding away. I think the clubber's probably going to take down this axe here. Good little turn by Needle working in now. So I think with that in, these axes should go bye-bye. That is 8 eco kills, but Bob still has the eco lead thanks to the fishing ships here. Jesse not really got his resource villagers working now. They're set up now. Bob already has the food to go up to the next stage if he wants. A couple of axes still in the base is going to be a little bit annoying. I mean, that's true. I mean, Jesse still has a decent score lead, so that might think Bob he's in a worse position than he actually is. Bob doesn't have the wood yet to get a second tool age building down. Jesse has added a few extra axes in. And still has all his berries left, and he's got himself set up. Well, starting to get set up on the fish eco in here. But Bob, a couple of bowmen in now. The axes are going to be put to bed. Next wave of axes is coming in. It says there's 6 axes. I don't see all of them. There's 2 here. There's 1 here. Am I just not seeing them? But yeah, bows are easily going to take these down now. Yeah, stable coming down now. And that's going to be the second tool age bot building for Bob. Bronze clicked in. That first pit. Well, like I said, this pit was a little bit. Like, you get the idea, but I think you've got to say that it probably wasn't worth doing that. Probably would have just been better to just build a dock at that point, and then just accept that you're going to have to build another storage pit somewhere at another time. Jesse is going to dock block as well as wall up here, but Bob nearly halfway up to bronze. Jesse does have a slight eco lead, but that's literally only just because obviously you can't be creating villages as you're aging up. Yeah, the score lead, I think a lot of that would just be down to exploration. Like, Jesse's probably seen quite a bit more of the map than Bob has. And then obviously quite a few eco kills as well. Just the KD is making this seem like the game's a lot more in favour than it actually is. As soon as Bob hits bronze, this will jump up. The score will jump up by about 80 points, something like that. Close the difference up a little bit. Okay, it didn't jump as much as I thought it would. I guess that's because he clicked to start researching more resource techs at the same time. There you go, there's the jump. Woo! I did not mean to press that button. So, we see a little bit of fighting here. Oh, actually, Jesse did quite a good job catching Bob right-clicking the military there. I'm just going to quickly go back to that. Although the guys were literally just patrolling. Bob wasn't really paying attention. Lost all those units. But we are in the Bronze Age now for Bob. But yeah, Jesse's got a pretty good eco setup now. Should be able to get his second Tool Age building and click up soon. But this does mean War Galley upgrade is going to have a chance to come in. Bob going cavalry first. Obviously a Yamato get those cheaper, but can't say. Oh my god! Sorry guys. It's because I pressed the 0 key by accident. I do apologise about that. But not too much has happened. There was just like a little bit of a trade around here of the remaining Tool Age army. But yeah, Bob got War Galley coming in now. Has few cavalry. I don't think they'll be able to do too much. There's one village that's a little bit trapped outside. And yeah, only scout ships in to defend against what soon will be the Yamato War Galley. With a lot of extra HP. You can see at the moment it's 120 to 144. Now it's 120 to 192. Bronze Age is clicked for Jesse, but there's already a whole bunch of War Galleys already in. Jesse does have himself set up a bit already on the central donut. But he's probably going to lose quite a few villages, as well as most of his ships around here as well. And yeah, Bob already just trying to push forward with the cavalry. The Persians do attack slightly faster, but that's not going to be enough to make up the difference between a War Galley and a scout ship. Especially not a Yamato War Galley, like I've said, with that extra HP in. And Bob's probably just going to sit here on the crossing now. Actually, maybe... yeah, okay, Jesse's actually going to get cut down by the cavalry there. Just one more boat coming in. Ooh, we'll see a little bit of a counter trade actually. Jesse getting a few good eco kills in there. It's going to buy him a little bit of time. As Bob's still kind of just setting himself up for his Bronze Age in the immediate Bronze Age. Bronze Age is now in for Jesse. And he has got quite a lot of food. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with that food, but can potentially add in a couple of extra TCs if he's feeling brave out front. Looks like the dock is going to go down there, and the walls didn't really get built up too much. We're only just coming in for Bob. It's a little bit late on that tech. Like I said, it still feels like Bob was kind of getting himself set up. Just wanted to get that initial push going with a few ships before properly setting up the eco. Jesse can actually kill a few of the fishing boats here. He might actually be in an okay position. Another couple of villagers caught out, and there you can see the eco kills quite heavily in favour of Jesse, and he still has a really big score lead. And like I said, Bob just not quite got himself set up just yet. All eco going on the move. Is he going to build TC in the centre island? Where are we going? We're going on the mass migration here. And possibly Jesse's done enough damage to the eco here. But yeah, moving the ships away. Chasing that one War Galley. It's going to mean Bob makes the great escape. He's going to be able to set himself up on the mainland now. And let's have a look. Did those cavalry break through? Not quite. Jesse didn't quite finish building that wall either. Dock still remains though. But yeah, Jesse with a 1,000-point lead, which again I must just be coming down to that KDA mostly at this point. And Bob has seen the central dock, so he does know Jesse's on the middle there. Bob now kind of get himself set up properly. Jesse's still on 1 TC, but with the middle there, he's just got all those extra fishing ships. There's 8 in the middle there. And I don't know, it feels like, yeah, Bob just kind of tried to maybe do too many things at once when he hit the Bronze Age there. Like I said, I think the addition of the cavalry wasn't really needed. I think that's kind of what caused them into, like, him bottlenecking a bit there at the start of the Bronze Age. I think he just needs to go War Galley, do a bit of the damage that he did do, and then just get his eco set up for the Bronze Age proper. He does have 8 cavalry units, but these guys have not really done an awful lot. I think those 4 kills were just when he killed some scout ships around here. Jesse, I think he tried to right click to repair that. Maybe he went to click the wall in. Don't exactly know what's going on here. He's trying to build a... I mean, you're going to need to repair the... needs to repair the storage pit. He's trying to build a transport ship. Why didn't he just delete the wall? He just delete the wall. And it... Oh my god. How many fit? So only 5 are going to fit in here anyway. So not even all the villagers are going to survive. Jesse, come on, man. Oh, this is... Oh my god. That was all intentional. Oh my god. Just delete the wall, my brother. Delete the wall and build one behind you and run. That was incredible. Incredible scenes here on Ocean Ring. But yeah, the cavalry wrapping round. Jesse's still with an eco lead, but Bob's set up on 3 TCs now. Doesn't really have the food eco to keep pumping from those TCs. Camels are coming out from Jesse. So, I mean, it has +4/+4. So he should easily be able to take these cavalry out now. Though again, these cavalry haven't really done much other than kill the storage pit, force Jesse to build a transport ship. And Bob calls GG. What a... I don't even know. What a strange... I think this is literally just comes down to, like, these kinds of maps are just not Bob's forte. And like I said, I think if he, at the start of Bronze, if he didn't try to go for cavalry straight away and just tried to get himself set up a bit stronger economically, like if I go back here, like he's going for War Galley, trying to add in some ships, trying to add in the cavalry all at once, and he just doesn't really have the eco in place. And then Jesse was able to punish this, punish as well with the scout. It's like, yeah, he had the War Galley and stuff at the front, punishing here, but Jesse made a big play here, wrapping around the side, managed to kill a whole bunch of the villagers here. Transport ship play, that I think that might need to be clipped. But yeah, this was basically what kept Jesse in the game. 3, 4, 5, 6 vills went down, and I think he lost all of the ships after that as well. So 5 ships here. That's fun. Picked a few more units off there. I don't know, I'm sure he maybe got a couple, one on the wood line there. But yeah, the fishing ship boat's going down. A couple more vills as well. That just meant Jesse just had the eco age. Like I said, he had a lot of food going into the Bronze Age. Like I said, I think just going for cavalry added that in a little bit too soon, did Bob. He just like wanted to go... Yeah, it's like he researched War Galley, added a couple of ships. Jesse ended up dealing with those. All the eco gets punished. I mean, if Jesse stuck around here, to chase the War Galley, I mean, it probably would have been over on the spot if he catches this. As Bob went for the big migration. In the end, I guess, yeah, it was mostly just the points lead that Bob was tapping out for, because he wasn't actually that far behind on eco. Obviously, at this point, he was probably going to lose all of his cavalry to the camels, and he was very, very behind in terms of military count. So, probably Jesse probably could have taken this game on all the way if he hadn't resigned. But that looked pretty sketchy. That looked pretty sketchy at the start for Jesse. With all that idle TC time, 16 pop up. But about 2 minutes of idle TC time, I think it was. And I've been yammering on, so the next game might have started already. Not quite yet, okay. Okay, so Jesse does get one back, at the very least. So we are... What did we see there? The Persians winning out against the Yamato. Yeah, like I said, I think Bob just tried to do a little bit too much when he hit bronze. I mean, Jesse did get a good number of villager kills in with his axes as well. He probably got more villager kills than he probably should have done, because he got 8 in the end. I'm just going to restart Capture Age. But I thought just because Bob was... yeah, that's true. He hadn't like dock blocked or anything. And Jesse still did get to the tool age like way before Bob did, just because Bob was like trying to add in the fishing eco. So the map we are going to see is already been decided. Okay, we're already in, so I've been talking for way too long. We'll just get straight into the game. And we have gone to Oasis, and it's going to be Romans against Assyrians. I'm a little bit surprised Bob didn't just pull out the Lakviat here. So I'm going to save the Lakviat to the last map, it seems. Let me just actually get Capture Age up so you can see it. But yeah, Jesse pulling out the Romans now. Like I said, it was... Romans still are a decent early game civ. They're just not quite as strong as some of the other civs these days, especially since the inclusion of Lakviat in the game. And Bob on the Assyrians, and as I've gone many times on record, I think Assyrians is probably my least favourite civ in the game. And we just see him pulling in an early elephant. Did he go out and explore that? Okay, it was just a nearby one. Obviously on Sahara, sorry, not Sahara, on Oasis you do get quite a lot of extra elephant. You only get much less starting berries as well, so you are kind of forced to try and find those extra ones. There are a few extra berry patches as well. Be very much encouraged to try and explore around and find those extra resources. Jesse, just been good at getting his zebra lured in, pushed in nice and early. That's one thing Jesse is always pretty good at doing. He's very well practiced with that. And yeah, I would expect the Romans to have an advantage in the early game, going into the tool age, etc. I mean, I said that as well. You can't just claim that for yourself. Because Carver said about maybe using Persians on Oasis as well. But yeah, like I said, I feel like the Romans should still have the edge in up to the tool age at least. If the Assyrians can get themselves to the Bronze Age and get those chariot archer numbers up, then the Romans can struggle a little bit there, as they've just got no ranged options. And we'll see if it does come to that, or if Jesse can pull it back, bring the series even to 2-2, which would take us to inland, where Bob has Lakviat left. So you'd suspect that you choose that civ over the Egyptians. What are Jesse's civs left over? The Chosen and Cimmerians, though, are his final 2 civs. Which wouldn't be civs I would prefer to pick on inland personally. That's just me. Maybe if you're a Chosen enjoyer like KT is, then you're not too sad in that situation. In the meantime, Bob on the way up to tool, only 15 seconds idle. Jesse, only 18 vills, 50 seconds idle. And that basically means they're going to hit tool at exactly the same time. It's just Bob's just going to have way more vills. So forward barracks. So like I said, I felt like the Romans should have the early advantage, but Bob's just been able to have a much cleaner Stone Age here. And he's just going to have the more resources available to him when he hits the Bronze Age. Villagers are going to butt heads. Bob gets the first hit in, which is always the most important thing. Which means Jesse needs to pull another villager, which he is doing. Barrack's going to go. I think that was a little bit... Yeah, that was never really going to work there, Bobo. So that's going to need to be deleted. Unless he feels... I mean, Jesse could just bone this down. Club is forward. Needs to get one hit in. Oh, that villager did a wrap around. Okay, there we go. Bob wasn't 100% paying attention. Jesse, move your mill. Tower coming in straight away. But yeah, this second barracks has been denied. And that was deleted by Bob there. So that's going to mean the forward push isn't probably going to be able to do too much damage straight away, as the forward villager did get killed as well. Bob's built a stable at home though, but it doesn't really have the food eco to support scouts at this point. Villager does make it back. Crossbow coming in, which is the needleworking upgrade. And Tower's going to force the axes away. And in the end, it's just a 1-for-1 trade. And Bob is going to be ahead. A handful of villagers, though, just because of that idle TC time. Ooh, axe are going out for a quick slap around with the axe. Toolworking is missing for Bob. Like I said, he's trying to go for that stable, and she's going to switch into an archery range as well now. So I don't know if that stable was... I don't know if that was a misclick. I'm not exactly sure what the stable was for there, because it looks like he's not going for scouts. I mean, that's true, but then Romans just get everything, all their buildings cheaper. So they don't need to do as much running around. Market slightly oddly placed, right next to the TC there. This always upsets me slightly when you don't leave space for your 8 farms around your TC. The little OCD part of me is like, I need my 8 farms. Need my 8 farms there. But yeah, a couple of axes, just kind of feigning aggression still from Bob. Bob not really building up much of a force behind this. In fact, Jesse's actually added a scout of his own here. I didn't notice that from the stable. I was focusing so much on that market there. I don't know if this scout is literally just for its namesake, just having a quick look around. It's quite an expensive, what do you call it, investment. 150 for the stable, 90 food for the scout itself. But yeah, Slinger was clicked there, but then got cancelled. Okay, so maybe Jesse is committing to the scout. Both players have a scout. It was kind of like the impetus of the game kind of got massively slowed down just because Bob kind of went a bit greedy for that second barracks there, and that slowed the game down a lot. And neither player has really had the eco set up to get an army going. That said, eco advantage massively in favour of Bob. So maybe why he hasn't had the eco, he's only just started getting the eco to make military now. He's just been focusing on getting that villager production continued going. A little scout fight here. Bob's scout's missing the armor. I don't know why Jesse pulled that away there. I think it's just better to just deal with the scout instead of it being annoying. Quick little house wall. It's going to prevent the axes from threatening the farmers for the time being. I think all the upgrades are in. Actually, no, toolworking still isn't in for Bob. Oh, this is bad by Jesse. He's going to throw away his scout. That was a poor trade there. And like I said, he should have just taken... Okay, there we go. Quick enough to turn those villagers around with the needleworking. But now, I think this is... Yeah, the bowmen starting to come forward. But slingers are already in production for Jesse. And... Again, though, he is 6 fills behind at this point. And I feel like he didn't need to really pull back from those. I feel like he's got pre-community patch fears of axes here. Those villagers could just take down those axes themselves. So I don't think he needed to be as scared as he was there. Don't know where these villagers are actually going now. If we're just going to try and find the wood line. Well, it's not really a wood line, it's just patches of wood. Well, I guess that means the bowman won't get much damage in now. And scout of his own, just trying to be annoying. I think he should just kill the bowman, but I don't think Jesse's actually paying much attention here. Is he going to catch the villager? No. Needle working in for Bob as well. Means the scout ends up not really getting too much done. Slinger getting a few good hits in. And a nice little bit of micro there by Jesse. He's going to let his reinforcements come in, do the work. But Bronze Age has been clicked for Bob, as he's had like decent eco lead for pretty much all the Tool Age now. A couple of Tool Age units going to go down to the tower. Woodworking coming in for Jesse. But yeah, long way off going to the Bronze Age. He's adding in scouts, which, I mean, if he could get a raid in of some kind on Bob, Bob is basically completely open. Bob finally getting in those last techs. And he has already swapped into onto gold. So actually it looks like we're going to see the Assyrians going for cavalry with the double stable. A quadruple stable. Goddamn. Instead of the more often seen chariot archer. Obviously cavalry, you can get them as soon as you hit Bronze Age straight away, so we're a little bit faster of a unit to actually mass up. And if you can, yeah, if you're up to the Bronze Age much faster than your opponent, sometimes the cavalry are just so much stronger of a unit that they can just punch you into that winning position straight up. Good little trades from Jesse now with the remaining Tool Age army. It's kind of interesting that Bob committed so much food to scouts there, because that's actually going to limit the immediate pump. Actually, that said, he's had enough food to make 3 cavalry straight from the beginning. And it does mean he's actually going to be able to get some amount of a raid already started up, although a couple of units, yeah, those will just easily get dealt with the bows. And Jesse now clicking to bronze, but with the cavalry coming in, this could be lights out on game 4 of this series. Yeah, we've already got another 3 in queue. I think they only have the Tool Age upgrades, but to be honest, that's pretty much all you need at this point. And there we go. Oh, that's just a scout wave. Quick little house there. And barracks. Tempted to go up there, but it looks like he didn't actually finish building at the time. Villager's going to be forced to run. Just the one garrison's in the tower. Jesse going to be forced to idle a lot of his eco. And the second wave coming in. Oh, actually, there's a forward villager coming forward, as well as the cavalry sneaking in. But yeah, Jesse on the full defensive. Yep, a whole bunch of villagers going to go down here, I suspect. Actually, no. Doesn't want to take the fight with the remaining Tool Age army. Where are the cavalry? Where are the cavalry? Dribs and drabs coming forward now. I feel like Bob just needed to gathering point them somewhere forward. There we go. One cavalry unit in. Axis should be able to take that down. Yeah. A couple of vills killed. So Jesse does actually get to the Bronze Age with most of his eco still alive. But yeah, Bob already on 9. And okay, hoplites putting down forward. I guess that's just to stop any potential response of that unit coming in from Jesse. And in fact, yeah, you can see Jesse was already trying to go for the hoplite himself. So that's a pretty good forward-thinking play from Bob here. Cavalry are going to be able to get most of the work done. And then the hoplites are just going to push this home. It's going to be a while before the first hoplite comes out. And a lot of damage being done. That was the remainings of the Tool Age army, a whole bunch of villagers, and this has to be GG now. Just, yeah, the towers don't really do anything against cavalry units. Good at putting the Tool Age army, keeping the Tool Age army at range, but just absolutely useless against the cavalry. Too much HP. First hoplite comes out, but yeah, GG's cold. 2 hoplites are already out for Bob. And yeah, this is a winner's bracket game, so Jesse just drops to the loser's bracket. But this will be fairly decisive 3-1 in the end of in favour of Bob. And Jesse did manage to somehow pull a win on the Ocean Ring map in that very strange game. Like I said, I think Jesse did a very good job of catching those villagers out on the shoreline, and Bob maybe, like I said, went for the cavalry a little bit too early in that game. Cavalry early in this game, though, exactly what the doctor ordered. Managed to absolutely punish Jesse, who was still pretty much completely open. Like I said, these Tool Age watchtowers don't really do much of anything against the cavalry. 150 HP with the pierce armor. How many shots that? 4. 160, quick maths, 40, 38 shots from a tower to kill a cavalry. That's how many shots you need. So not very effective. But yeah, Bob, obviously, like I said, was the favourite probably coming into this series. So Jesse, you could argue from the 3-1 result wasn't too bad. And I think again, what was it? What was the second map again? Where I think Jesse didn't play his best. There, it was Citadels as the Greeks. Although that said, it was always going to be an uphill struggle as the Greeks on that map. But I think Jesse underperformed compared to his regular skill level. I think we all know he's better than that. But like I said, Jesse's still in the tournament. Bob will advance and through the winners bracket. Let's have a look actually. I'll just finish up today by going through the rest of the schedule. And I think there's 3 series tomorrow, maybe 2 actually. GG's Jesse. Yeah, a little bit of a Titanic in a couple of the games. And GG's Bob, well played. I think you kind of what happened in the draft, Jesse? Before we get any further. What was the? Did you just think Shang and you just don't respect the Shang and the Latvia anymore? Do you think we've nerfed them enough in the community patch? Yeah, I'm going to go back to the draft actually. I feel like Bob got everything he wanted. Like Latvia, Shang, Egyptian, and then although I feel like Hittite should have Bob probably should have just chosen Hittite here instead of Egyptian, and then he could have maybe chosen a stronger Civ in there and not had to resort to Assyrians later on. Okay, that's fair. I mean, like I said, I was saying during the draft that I feel like there are some objectively stronger Civs, but then people's approach to the game is subjective, and you might have a few different ideas. So, I think for me, if you'd saved Phoenicians for later in the draft and used maybe Chosen or Sumerians, maybe tried to go something a bit outside the box with Chosen on Highland, maybe saved Phoenicians for later, and that would have given you a few more options. I think using Phoenicians, for me, I think Phoenicians was probably one of your strongest civs in your draft. And when you match up against the Shang, that's always going to be hard, let alone when you're against the mighty Bobo. But yeah, like I said, we'll have a look at what's upcoming tomorrow. And there was actually another series played earlier today between Thaya and Relieved It Sofa. Oh dear. These Centurion players, man. Am I right? What was I trying to do anyway? Yeah, so there was actually a series played earlier today, which I didn't see the result of. So I'm not going to put any spoilers out for anyone. No spoilers in the chat, please. I may put what am I trying to say? I may cast the replays later in the week. It's just there's a lot of games going on over the weekend and stuff, and I just didn't want to burn myself out. But yeah, tomorrow, there we go, upcoming Clash. That's what I wanted to click. So we have 3 series. We have Popeye versus Spirit of the Universe at 16 GMT. So earlier in the day. In fact, that's the same time as Say My Name versus Bongo. So I think I'll probably be casting Say My Name versus Bongo, as that's going to be the bigger match. But again, maybe Popeye versus Spirit. If no one else casts that, I might cast the replays of that later during the week. And then the other game is 18 GMT. We've got Genie versus Nightmare, so that should be a pretty good game. I think Nightmare has not been playing Return of Rome too much until he just came back to play the game a bit more recently. So maybe a little bit rusty. Unres next round. Well, get the practice in. Oh yeah, of course the league game against Popeye. I've kind of I'm going to put Rise of the Ancients a little bit on the back burner, I think, for casts, unless maybe it's a good time. What time is that game on actually? 20 GMT. Okay, it's later in the day. Like I said, I just don't want to like burn myself out by just like streaming non-stop for days in a row. So when was that? So 18 GMT, and then was that 20 GMT? Did I say? Okay, so I could do like 3 back-to-back series tomorrow over like 6 hours, and we could see how that goes. But I may not. Let's just put it like that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Say My Name against Bongo game. Obviously, like I said, I think Say My Name use an absolute powerhouse in, well, even in AOE1 or AOE2, really. Bongo has a bit of a challenge for ahead of him. But we'll see if Bongo... I think Bongo's been practicing quite a lot recently. We'll see if that comes to good use and see how well he does. And let's have a look at the bracket one more time before we... Actually, I'm not going to put the bracket up on the screen just because of spoilers. But just I'll have a look at some upcoming matches that have not been scheduled yet. There's too many channels, my brain's like stopped working. League bracket, tournament bracket, there we go. That's what I'm trying to find. Let's put that over here. So yeah, unrestricted against Bob. That's coming up. That's the main one. And then it'll be whoever wins against from Genie and Nightmare is going to have the unfortunate task of playing Cool in the next round. So good luck to whoever wins that game. Then in the lower bracket, Jesse is playing Weshi Superhero, a name I have not heard of before. I think he's one of the guys that's joined the Discord recently. And we'll see how he does. And I've just spoiled the score of the series earlier today for myself. That was stupid of me. KT is going to be playing Vidira GT, who I believe Jesse knows a little bit more about than I do. Has rated him reasonably highly in the seedings. So it'd be interesting to see, because I'm not familiar with that player myself, how strong he is, see how he plays against KT. Yeah, like a few of we need like a few of the losers bracket games to be played so we can advance onto some. Oh, he's just a solid AOE2 player, okay. Yeah, 1800 rating AOE2 is pretty solid. I think that's like top 10%, top 5%, something like that of players. Maybe even higher than that, actually. I'm not exactly sure what. I think it's like 2200 plus is the top 100-ish players for AOE2. Alrighty, so I'm probably going to call it an end to the stream for there today. So thank you for all the raids from both the guys that raided, AOE2 Underground, as well as Kitchens earlier as well. Thank you very much. And like I said, I'll be streaming some more games tomorrow. And so, like I said, when was it again? It will be 16 GMT, 1600 hours on the dot for Say My Name against Takeaway Bongo tomorrow, late afternoon. And I will be there, so hopefully some of you guys will be as well. Let's see, is anyone streaming? Katie's got a few people in his stream. I'll just mute that stream that's just decided to make a noise. So I think I'll send you guys over to KT and go say hello to him and tell him not to troll people in tournament games and as well, if you can. But yeah, I'll send you on. Where is it? How do I do this again? KT. Hey. OE. There we go. So yeah, I'll love you and leave you. And again, yep, thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.